talk about technology and how it's related to education. I use technology, most people use technology education for virtual laboratories, simulations, open discussions, obviously data manipulation, scoring, students' grades, and other applications. It's very important to integrate technology into education, in finance, and in environmental education, industry, and all types of businesses have been integrating technology into their program. Okay, there's 4 important steps to integrating technology. First, identify the business that you have. Second is to identify the resources you have available. The third is to identify the tasks that you want to do with the technology. And the fourth is to identify the type of organization that you have. Personally, I've seen technology being implemented incorrectly in most school districts from what teachers have told me. There are some major problems, one of them being internet connection, Wi-Fi's. I know in certain school districts they don't buy the proper equipment and the Wi-Fi's don't work all over the place. There's dead zones, there's spots that people don't get internet access. I've seen other school districts where they don't have the money to buy smartboard bulbs, they don't have the money to buy their computers, they don't air condition their computer rooms and the computers burn out. And lastly, I've seen where they get like the oldest versions of the software and they don't work with the current machines and they don't update the operating systems and those machines don't work anymore. Also, I found that students really prefer to use real labs as opposed to virtual labs. The students like to see colors change, and they like to see hydrogen blow up, and they like to see magnesium burn at 1500 degrees in front of their faces as opposed to seeing it on a laboratory computer screen. It's just not as fun. Sun Tzu said, personally, I like his chapter on spying and information. I think it really relates to technology. Technology totally is related to information and grabbing information and manipulation of information. And I think that his chapter on that really is needed. The 2 articles that I will discuss is basically the effects of technology on students, and the second article addresses the cost of technology in schools. The first one, by Pamela Deloach, was the 4 ways technology can negatively affect education. And the first one is the way you think. Students just don't think the same. And I find that personally with my nieces and nephews when they're young. They just don't play games the same way I did because they have absolutely no imagination, because I think technology kind of dulled them down. Another very important aspect of technology that could be detrimental is that students lack interpersonal relationships with other people. And that's what really school's about, is to develop friends and relationships and get to know other people. The third one is physical activities. If you're sitting in front of an iPad or a computer every day, all day long, you're really not moving around, you're really getting very, very little physical activity. And finally, privacy. If you're all these students are putting their information on the computer and on their iPads, they're open to attack from people stealing their information, their identity, and other negative aspects that you don't want to happen to children. The second article is about cost and maintenance. Many schools don't apply total cost of ownership of hardware. They don't address the fact that software has to be maintained by people, software has to be updated, and the hardware has to be maintained. Again, same thing would happen with bulbs for smartboards and overhead projectors, computers, new graphics cards, hard drive malfunctions. All these things are not taken into account by districts and administration when it comes to technology. And that obviously results into very, very poor technological experience when the technology doesn't work properly. One suggestion the author had was to use volunteers to offset the cost of technological maintenance. So for instance, I'm a teacher, I have a duty period. I sit at a desk, I monitor the hallway. Instead of doing that, you ask people to have some kind of technological savvy to actually help maintain the cost of it and maintain the computers without having to cost that much money. I'm there anyway, I know how to fix a computer. Let me do that instead of just sitting in a hallway checking bathroom logs. And finally, technology is great, it's wonderful as long as it increases efficiency, increases organization, it can reduce costs, but if it's not done properly, it definitely can have a negative experience with it. Thank you.